Love and accept yourself. First and foremost, you are the infinite expressing itself. You are source. You are God. You are Tao. You are Brahman. You are that. Tat Tvam Asi. I and my Father are one. You are it. This is why incredible figures in our cultural history, like Mr. Rogers, were so adamant about that recognition, even in the youngest of youth, in childhood. Recognize that you are the jigsaw piece that always fits perfectly. You're simultaneously absolute infinite perfection, while you're also the beautiful process of turning inward and recognizing awareness as God, and also being the unique expression of that infinite, artistically contributing a gift to the creation design. So love and accept yourself first and foremost, exactly, precisely, beautifully as you are. You're already so beautiful. Love and accept yourself first and foremost. And then second, we quiet our mind. This is what Buddha taught. Stop the cravings and the aversions. Stop the monkey mind. Like Patanjali also taught, Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga, or union with God, with the Absolute, is simply the quieting of the fluctuations of mind. And we use our breath, which is the tool that's always present with us, to create the juxtaposition for us to recognize that we are not the cloud of thought, of emotion, the feeling, the sensation, the experience, the belief, the object, that appearance of form. But we are the sky, we are the eternal shared awareness where that cloud transiently appears and then disappears. So you quiet your mind enough to be able to create the simple childlike juxtaposition between the sky and the clouds. The clouds are the mind, and the sky is the eternal shared awareness. It's the observer, it's the witness, it's the very I amness. Just like our pupil is that shared eternal observer among us all. And the iris is the unique coloration, the unique expression artistically that we are, contributing a gift in the streamed creation. And so the quieting of the mind creates, like in the parable of the prodigal son, the turn inward usually comes with hitting a breaking point as the contracted energy of the finite, egoic, separate self seeks peace and happiness externally, can't find it in appearance of form, can't find it in peak experiences, can't find it in substances or in relationships. So just like in the parable of the prodigal son, it turns inward just to recognize that the diamond necklace, like Rumi said, has always been around our necks. The diamond necklace is becoming aware of awareness itself. As St. Francis of Assisi said, that which you are seeking is the seer itself. Just like Ramana Maharshi said, that God is the seer. So when you become aware of awareness and how that is eternal and how that is shared, that's when you've pierced the veilless veil. You've walked through this gateless gate. You've recognized our true metaphysical nature at a much deeper level. And now, as Sri Aurobindo said, you've moved the rock that has covered that well of honey, and now you bring, like Rupert Spira said, you bring peace and happiness to the creation design rather than trying to extract peace and happiness from it. And that's what's meant by Buddha's middle way, or his middle path, or as Ramana Maharshi said, Sahaja Samadhi, or in the Tantric tradition, you weave your enlightened realizations into society. So you recognize that awareness is shared, it's eternal. And then you recognize that even awareness itself is dreamed. Even the agent of awareness itself is the very last thorn that we must pluck out in order for us to recognize the absolute. So there's the first step of moving from beyond mind, quieting those fluctuations of the clouds, enough to be able to become aware of awareness itself, which is called God realization. That is shared, that is eternal. That's step one. And then the second step is to even recognize that the shared eternal agent of awareness itself is dreamed. And plucking that last thorn out, that's absolute realization. That's the second step. Weaving our realizations into the social fabric is what brings not only the highest expression of infinity, but also it maximizes prosperity for everyone else. These are the very simple steps of the direct path to peace and happiness that you already are. Love yourself and accept yourself. You are already it. Quiet the mind. Quiet down those fluctuations. Leverage respiration, the breath, the tool that's always with you, to create the juxtaposition, create the pause rather than reacting all the time to the stimulus. Use the breath to create the pause and observe. And as you do that, you will recognize that you are the observer, you are the witness, you are the awareness, the very sky that is shared and eternal among us all. And then you recognize that even that awareness itself is a dreamed agent of the absolute. And you weave those realizations into society and maximize prosperity, maximize metaphysical truth. That's it for the Direct Path 15. I'll go ahead and go over a couple additional fun insights that we've been communicating across our Instagram as well. Things like the infinite appearing is like the heartbeat. The lub-dub. The lub-dub. The lub-dub. The lub is the outward, It's like the systolic in the blood pressure. And the dub is the inward. It's like the diastolic in the blood pressure. The 120 over 80. 120 over 80. There's so much additional pressure that's made when the heart has to pump the oxygenated blood outward throughout the body. And there's so much less pressure on the dub, on the diastolic, when the blood comes back into the heart that's deoxygenated, that then gets pumped back out to the lungs, where you have the alveoli that run the gaseous exchange between O2 and CO2 that is happening 20,000 times per day, that many breaths. The same amount of breaths that you take every single day can be conceptualized as the 20,000 infinite creations that are being created every single day. As we take our 20,000 breaths, there are 20,000 big bangs happening. That's what's meant by the multiverse. That's what's meant by infinity expressing itself, and this just being one creation design of that. That yin yang of the inhalation exhalation of the lub dub is very much like the infinite that dreams an observer, that voyages outward in divine play, just to return home to its infinite source, just to voyage again in exploration. Again, the lub dub, lub dub, lub dub. Just like the heartbeat, just like the infinite. Just like the heartbeat, just like the infinite. Across all creation designs, you are one expression in just this creation design, and we'll never stop. That's what is meant by eternity. Infinitely exploring. And that's the metaphysical truth. And when you become subtle enough to even feel the 1 mile per hour wind, or you become subtle enough to even feel that lub dub inside of your body, you melt so deeply into sensitivity that awe resumes as your true nature. Awe for this breath. Awe for being able to communicate to another expression of source across the interwebs. Awe for life. Awe for breath, for water. And being truly grateful on a moment-to-moment basis for the 100 billion people that have lived and died before us today, that have brought all of these planetary architectures of prosperity. The very technology that we are using right now to be able to communicate across the internet. The very simplicity of opening up the faucet and getting running water. The very simplicity of flicking on the light switch and getting light. to have a jaw-dropping awe and gratitude for all that is surrounding the now, for all of the blood, sweat, and tears that has went to be able to provide you and I with what abundance we have today, and to recognize ourselves as these next expressions of infinity that come through, portal in, to maximize the architectures for prosperity even more, so that the next expressions of infinity that portal in, just like we're seeing with Generation Alpha right now, have even more abundance and even more creative prosperity. Because that's what our ancestors did. And that's what we continue doing. And just like that, generation after generation, eternally, we continue expressing ourselves as the infinite. And one more little story. This one's pretty common. It's one that's communicated a lot. The two fish. One fish asks the other fish, "Where is the ocean?" And the other fish says, "You're in it right now." And the fish asks, "What is the ocean?" And the other fish answers, "It's our true being." And the fish asks, "Point me to it." And then the fish answers, "Become aware of being in it. Become aware that this is the non-dual ocean. This is the ineffable appearance. This is the absolute expressing itself. This is it. Why is there an ocean?" And the fish responds, "It's an expression of the absolute." And the fish asks, "What is the absolute?" And the other fish replies, "It's this ocean." And then the fish asks lastly, "Are we the absolute?" And the fish replies, "The fish are the absolute as well. You and I and the dreamed creation design are the absolute. The observer, the witness, the awareness is the absolute. The creation design, the appearance of form and matter, is also the absolute. This is the ocean. Recognize yourself as a fish in the ocean. Very simply put, you're in it right now. You are already the piece to the puzzle that always fits. You are already that. Love and accept yourself. Quiet the mind. Become aware of awareness. Recognize that awareness is shared, eternal, and dreamed. And weave your realizations into society. That's it. That's the direct path to peace and happiness, to the diamond that is already around your neck, that is refracting a unique expression of the source light as a contributory gift in this creation design. And that's the simple analogy of the eye. The pupil is the shared eternal observer, witness, awareness. And the iris is the unique creative expression, the contributory gift that the individual brings. You are the infinite expressing itself as a unique contributory gift. That's why unity, sameness, even in the science of DNA, 99.9% similar across humans. And the diversity, the difference between humans, DNA, is 0.1%. That's the unique contributory gift. You are a unique expression of the infinite. contributing a novel, beautiful gift, and to maximize prosperity and to realize ourselves as that infinite are the most important services that we can render humanity. As Ramana Maharshi said, that God realization, recognizing yourself as the one infinite creator, is the most important service you can render humanity. As Lao Tzu said in the Tao Te Ching, as you recognize the Tao, you channel the absolute highest morality and ethics in that weaving of the realizations into the social fabric. You recognize the other expression of the infinite is actually that one infinite creator. It's all coming from the same source, the same infinite, the same God, the same Brahman, the same Tao, the same universe, the same multiverse, the same universal wave function. The synthesis of science and spirituality, the two greatest driving forces that have brought us to where we're at today, are happening this century at unprecedented rates and awakening us all to our metaphysical truth. I adore you all so much. Thank you very much for tuning in. If the video brought you value, please give it a like. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Would love to hear from you. And share the video with others that you know this would bring value to. Join the channel if you would like. As a member, get exclusive benefits, and also every single dollar of revenue that comes in goes directly to actualizing our fullest projects. And thank you again so much. Infinite love. And I hope that this direct path video has been insightful and has brought you value exactly at where you're at in your journey as an artistic expression of the infinite.